Okay, all right. Hold on. Let me turn this thing down.
We back.
Yes, sir. We are back.
What's going on, y'all?
I'm hating this echo in my ear. Hold
We ain't back.
on. Nah, we back. We back.
I'm about to say we not back.
I gotta turn the volume now. But we back. Episode what is it, 6, 5?
We didn't figure that out last week, did we?
No, we ain't never figured out which episode
The
it
answer
was.
should just be 5 each time. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Why can't we just have fans tell us? Like we just need people to just let us know.
Do we
when we're
have
wrong.
it? That's why we had to doctor it up and make it look better so we can have fans. I don't know if we have fans yet.
Let me not take accountability for our actions for once.
That's crazy. Oh man, that's crazy. But yeah, we back. Episode 5, 6, 5, who knows? Of Open Gym, presented by Mojo Sports Gear. I am Rondell Sutherland here with Marvell Nichols and T Nesbitt. How y'all doing? I pointed in y'all direction.
No, he definitely pointed at me.
He went out last night. It's clear.
That's crazy.
It is
Hey.
clear. I can smell the tacos on your breath.
That's wild.
Got all kind of salsa.
All right, that's wild.
You get the guacamole too. You a
I
super
ain't do-
partier.
I ain't do none of that. I was at
Who eats
home
guacamole,
asleep.
man? That's what I'm saying.
Rondell does. That's what I'm saying. That's why he be kind of
down with
slow
the
in
guac,
the
bro?
early stages of this. He be down with the guac. You see, he be classy and fancy all the time. He get the most expensive things.
You like guacamole, guapamole, or guacamole?
He like the guacamole.
All right, what are y'all talking, man? Look,
Your
we are
food
back. Are
I
y'all?
had to make sure he was officially back.
Hey, did y'all even say how y'all feeling? That's crazy.
I know
we
you
had
were
to
back.
You was
We
pointing
been
to me and
here.
said Marvell. Like I just had to make sure that they didn't think I was Marvell. What if somebody thought highly of him?
Do you want me to put lower thirds on
I
everyone?
said, where the lower thirds at? This is raggedy.
Why do we gotta say who we are each time? I mean, if we had fans, they know who we are now.
Do they
See
know?
where I'm talking about where the accountability needs to be at?
All right,
For
bro.
real?
Look, I'm Rondell. That's Marvell over there in the gray. That's T in the black with the Brick Lee shirt. That's better.
I want a
That's
detail.
way better.
I like my gravy
It's like
neck.
it's
You
lower
got a
third.
gray shirt, bro.
The gravy neck, I don't know.
Whatever, man. All right, we here to talk NBA, so let's recap these games.
Makes me mad.
Yeah, they had to make me mad too. But let's recap these games. What y'all want to talk about first?
Woo! I got 61 things to talk about. Really, Dame time.
Hold on, man. We'll get to Dame later, bro.
What you mean? That's breaking news, brother.
Is it breaking news?
How does he know that? That's
I mean,
breaking
it
news.
all fits in with his situation with PG and them, so we can
we'll
talk
get to
about
that in a minute. We gotta talk about 61-piece spicy.
How do you ask me what I want to talk about?
All right. Just talk
And then
about
when I
Dame.
say
Talk
that,
about Dame going off for 61, even though they probably ain't going to continue to make the playoffs.
Are you sure about that? There's
we have
only
a
1 or 2
segment
games
later
left,
on.
brother.
Is
They're
there?
one game. I think they're half a game or a full game ahead of Dallas.
Are they?
Let me get the standings up.
Let me get the file.
Hold on, I gotta fix something real quick.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I got
we-
the file.
It's like,
No, they're a half a game ahead of Memphis.
Yeah, they got the lead now. Is that okay? Can we talk about that now? Rondell?
clearly now.
We have a segment coming up about Dame Lillard, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler.
Yeah,
Because
spoiler
no one wants
alert.
to really talk about it nowadays. That's great.
But yeah, I mean, and to that credit, doing what he did last night and giving the Mavericks 61 of them in a game you had to win. I mean, let's be real, this is the most important game of the Blazers season. I mean, obviously, but I mean they've been in playoff mode the whole entire bubble run. But this was the peak, because if they would have lost, they would have been 11th seed, and they need people to lose to be able to have a chance at the play-in. They control their own destiny, and their best player turned into their best player. He did what best players do, and he went crazy. So, I mean, again, obviously, when you do things like Dame Lillard did last night, you're gonna talk about that all day. We don't need just one particular segment to speak about that man. But he killed. He definitely did. Anything else? The Suns. I mean, them 7-0. That's first of all. Let me say this play-in thing. No matter what, when a pandemic happens or ends up kind of getting together or whatever, we get back to basketball being the way it should be. This play-in thing is here to stay. I can guarantee you that. Just because, I mean, I think from all sides, it showed you that why the playing thing should probably be a thing. Leave the 7 spots together. Don't bother them. But that 8th, 9th area, that's up for debate, and I'm cool with that. Just because you see Memphis torpedo, like I initially thought Memphis got the short end of the stick because I'm up 3.5, 4 games with y'all. It looks like you can just kind of play average basketball and still get in the playoffs. But with this bubble situation, that's showing you a team like the Suns, who were really dead in the water, can get hot and still play for something. And we're lost 7 straight. And really, the Phoenix Suns are a team you don't want to play right now. Let's just be real with that. And that's what happens with the playing situation. San Antonio still alive. No, it's
No, San Antonio's over with.
Yeah, they over with.
they're now, but still at this point, they're still alive.
I mean, they're what 5-2 in the bubble right now.
They have nothing to play for. You know, LaMarcus Aldridge out. Your options look dwindling, but you still come out and you go 5-2.
And it was formidable for them to see them like smoke relatively the Houston Rockets because they tried their absolute hardest. Like the games that I've noticed with the 4 teams, San Antonio, Portland, Phoenix, and Memphis, what I've seen from them is urgency. Mainly from, the Suns, of course, because they had urgency this entire time in the bubble. But you've seen urgency in San Antonio, like, they're showing some fight, even though it's a wrap for them. You know what I mean? So that's the Greg Popovich way. I think that they went out tremendously as far as what they could have done and, what was in their hands.
All right. I guess the one thing that's at least surprising me the most is it seems like all these, I guess, bench players, B+ players are showing out. Like, who showed out for San Antonio in that game?
Derek White.
I think Derek White.
Was it him?
But you know what? I think that brings credence to something I heard a long time ago. I was listening to an interview with Kobe Bryant, and he was talking about Adam Morrison, and he was like, Adam Morrison gets a lot of crap for obviously not, he's a top 3 pick, but he didn't pan out as being a top 3 type of pick player. But Kobe was saying like pretty much how during practice time, Adam Morrison, he held his own. Like Adam Morrison helped him get prepared for Turkoglu and Stojakovic. Adam Morrison used to give Artest fits during practice to make them better. So Adam Morrison was a big reason that they won that championship. I say that to say this. A lot of sports, everybody in the NBA can play or are athletic,
Right.
to some extent. You can be one of the slower people, and you can be Roy Hibbert. You're still athletic enough to play in the NBA. You're just not as athletic as your peers. But it's to me, it's a mental game, and it's a lot of these bench players or players who you didn't really see do their thing typically during the season. This is their playoff. This is their time to shine because it's no different than practice for them. The crowd can get into young players' heads. So, you don't see what happens during practice. A lot of times, I remember going back to that Jimmy Butler story in Minnesota, how he was saying, well, I took the third stringers, we beat the starters. I can see that happening because the third stringers are hungry. You're playing to try to take somebody's job. They're playing just to, you can just even kill. Andrew Wiggins kind of just coast, keep his job. But if you're the third stringer, you need to not only try to become for Wiggins' job, you need to come for that backup job. So you show out when nobody's looking. I say that to say this. So with even though you have the virtual crowd and all that, I think a lot of these B+, C+, maybe even D+ players that are kind of showing out,
Right.
they're doing that because this is probably what's happening when you're not seeing it. When they come to game time, the mental thing starts to kick in, and they can't perform to the level that they're doing in this kind of day. With the situation they're dealing with now. But that situation, so you're not dealing with the crowd. Even like the free throws, the free throw percentage is up a lot, and that's because you don't have to deal with the crowd. Like all these aspects come into play, and that translates to players playing out of their mind that normally you wouldn't see doing this because this is their time to shine. It's no different than like the summer league for some of these young cats. And to be frank, a lot of these younger players would be playing in the summer league right now, would be trying to get better. You're just able to see that on this level because basketball is being played in August.
You gotta look at it like this. There are a lot of opportunities for everyone here. And the biggest opportunity is for those, D+, C+, B+, whatever grade you want to give them players that's not the superstars. This is a great opportunity because there's no momentum. There's no real situation where you're in an environment like a bubble where you're used to normal life with a bunch of basketball players who are already in rhythm with their team and whatnot. Like you can look at it from a prime example of being worried about the Lakers defense. What you haven't seen a lot of defense in a lot of these games. That's for a reason.
I mean, you see a lot of offense, so
Exactly, but the reason why you see a lot of this offense is because everyone's so high energy. Everyone's just we're so happy to be back. This is great energy that the NBA is showing. Like it's almost like every game is an all-star game at this point. But it's actually like it's helpful because like you have teams like Denver who have young players that they need to, let their legs stretch out. Like Bol, for example. Like I always say, Bol and Michael Porter Jr. are the best secret weapons out right now due to the simple fact that other NBA teams don't know how to really scout them. Yeah, in the sense of like they can see any type of D League footage or anything or college footage all they want, but they don't know how they pair with a veteran team or with a team that's already established. Right. So this is kind of like, like we have him. You don't know what to do with him, so you have to figure us out. So it's a whole bunch of question marks everywhere that you don't know will be answered yet until probably the playoffs, because that's when everyone's like, all right, it's time for us to buckle down because the playoffs are a much slower game. The playoffs are a much more physical game, and that's where you have to take it the most serious. You also look at just like for another defensive standpoint, the fact that you look at stronger teams that are really big, strong defensive teams are sacrificing because of just players trying to get into their rhythm, trying to get into an offensive groove more than anything. Because how do you win a game? You score, right? So I think that it's a switch that everyone has to turn on and off. And I think that will come in the playoffs. And when you look at certain teams that have little to prove, or you thought had little to prove, like the Phoenix Suns, for those players, like you go into it, who has the only high expectation? They do. We don't have high expectations of the Suns when they got in.
All right.
I mean, there was nobody. I don't even think people in Phoenix
thought the Suns
okay, like why are we here? People in Phoenix were probably like that. So I get it. So it takes you by surprise. Like you seen Memphis torpedo, like you were saying. Like you see Memphis that you thought would be solidified because they're 3-4 games in, like ahead, but that's not the case now. So now you start to see the narrative of why the teams that you thought weren't supposed to be here are here now. You see what I mean? So it's weird how that was set up, but I guess it has its reasons. So I think that with the game being as weird as it is, people are trying to take advantage of it. You have Gary Trent Jr., the self-proclaimed greatest shooter in the world, out here just clipping everything. You have Carmelo Anthony looking like before Houston, before OKC, relatively. You have teams that are trying to get it together. You have Dame getting 61. I mean, that's something you would expect, right, in a normal season. But now you're getting like players that are stepping up and trying to figure out where they belong, and now they're starting to get it into not even in a more of a professional environment, but they're actually starting to see their opportunity and seize upon it.
I think another thing that come into play too is the fact that every team is playing for something different. Like almost every game I see, or every other game, excuse me, there's a star player sitting out. It's kind of low management. Like it's not the Clippers. You wasn't gonna see Paul George and Kawhi Leonard that much together. There were some games where Kawhi. I know they had it back to back. Paul George was playing one game, then Kawhi Leonard's playing. Paul George sitting again in that Portland game that they gave away. They tried to give it to him because they sat Paul George 5 minutes left to go in a close game because we're doing our own thing. So it's kind of like if you're a team, it's low key like March Madness where the lower seed comes hungry, ready to play, because we have something to play for. That higher seed, it's not that they don't have anything to play for, but they know they're more talented than you, so I can just kind of just step on the court and probably still beat you.
So underestimation.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have a team like the Suns, where nobody expects us to be here. We have nothing to lose. This is kind of like a vacation, and kind of a barometer thing for us too, a measuring stick, because we're playing for something different. If I'm Phoenix, this is the summer where Devin Booker is. Last summer you're hearing him crying about getting double teamed. At this time, now Devin Booker can be playing against NBA caliber talent.
I mean, he could thank Joakim Noah for that.
Yeah,
they was double teaming him in practice.
Absolutely, but that making him be able to do what he's doing now.
Right.
But DeAndre Ayton, he's playing NBA basketball now, where he would just be trying to get better. You know what I mean? Like, they have a young core that needed time to torpedo them into next year and going with some momentum. Now they just get to share it off. And again, at the beginning of the season, the Suns were technically, I know it was early, but they were a playoff team. They started off the season pretty good. DeAndre Ayton got suspended, then everything went, all bad. But now they're just showing, if you don't bring your best, we're coming for you, because they're playing for something different. If I'm playing against, the Mavericks, I know they tried last night, but Portland has more to play for than the Mavericks. The Mavericks are trying to avoid the Clippers if they can. It's a pipe dream. We have something to play for, but not like Portland, who's playing for their playoff life, literally. So It's just, you're going to see different things. You have a different combination of reasons why, and the NBA is exactly why. It's no different than the end of the season most years. There's always somebody that's balling out that last week or two, just because he's getting the minutes, just because he's getting the shine, just because he's getting the opportunity. And everything's just about the now. And the bubble brings out just different nows.
I think that, to play devil's advocate, you have to look at maybe the Dallas Mavericks for the prime example of, we have the talent. I mean, we have Luka Doncic, and Kristaps Porzingis is pretty healthy. He's playing pretty good basketball. That pair actually shows some promise. Why not give them some playoff experience together? Let's not waste our time here. So I understand where you come from. It's just like, when some teams have more to play for than each other. Because if you're either LA team, if you're any of the top three of the playoff picture, right? You're looking at it as, okay, let's just get our groove for later on, because we know we're here. There's no changing that, because we've established ourselves ahead so far that all we have to do is worry about the later parts of the game, like how the Lakers are, like, where they would sit their starters. How Denver, for example, in the game against LA, they sat their starters the entire fourth quarter, right? And at that game, that was when Kyle Kuzma hit that game-winning three. You still remember that. You look at the game overall, it was what, 122 to 125, I want to say.
I mean, I could look it up.
I think it was 121 to 124.
It's one of those two. But you look at that and you say, okay, they didn't have starters the entire fourth quarter, and you're having close games with them, and you barely made it out.
It was 121, 124.
Okay, 121, 124. Okay, so you still look at that as you kind of worry. I guess it's the narrative of just like, oh, they're not going to look like this in the playoffs. You're kidding me, right? You got to believe that these teams are going to look at that and know what their mistakes are. There's no way you're going to play a game and not like view it, or not study it, or not do your film or your breakdowns. There's no way. So I understand where people are coming from with their concerns of like sitting out starters and whatnot, because like it's only a few games that you're playing. But again, it's carrying on as normal as possible in the NBA now. You're resting your starters as you go along because you have bigger fish to fry. T, we were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about how if you're getting paid to play 82 games in a season, that's ridiculous. Or you have to like have some type of form of system to where, okay, like if you had back-to-backs, for example, you could play one back-to-back or just, but you have to sit out another one. And it helps, be a fan of not just a player, but you got to be a fan of a team now. You know what I mean? So you have to be a fan of the entire roster and understand why the roster was built. If LeBron James was to sit out and then you just and then you replace him with, I don't know, Alex Caruso on the starting lineup, just for hypotheticals.
Hypothetical sake, yeah.
Right. So for hypothetical sake, now you are sitting there. You're like, I don't get to see LeBron play. Tough. Whatever. It's a break. People have to understand, like there are people really with mental health issues in the NBA. There are people with actual injury. There are people that have gone through personal things, or they just need some time to sit and actually relax. 82 games and traveling the United States is not easy on a daily basis.
I can agree with that, but I mean, at the same time, you're doing the NBA. Like, oftentimes you'll see a player asking for a trade or something, and you asking what's the problem, and it's basically because they didn't kiss up to him. A lot of times, they didn't feel wanted, and it's to me, you're signing up to play 82 games. You're signing up. These are my brothers. This is my team. This is what I want to do. You sign up to get drafted. You sign up to you sign that contract, and it says at any time you can be traded. So you can't really cry foul about how they treat you because this is what you signed up for. So when you tell me, all right, I want to play 82 games. I mean, I want to play in the NBA, and I want you to pay me $45 million. I'm going to look at you and say, I want you to play every game because that's what you're playing to do. Like, I'm not giving you money to sit. I'm not giving you money to not participate. I'm giving you money to play the game of basketball. I just don't. I always hear, well, if NBA players back in the day had modern medicine, how would they look and skip. At the end of the day, they didn't have all that stuff. And a lot of times they were playing 82 games. And
with blisters on their feet, wearing Chucks.
Hey, it is what it is. I mean, but you're playing an athletic, game. You're playing sports. It's no different than playing football, and your body's going to ache sometimes because you're getting hit. But you choose to do this. So if I'm going to give you this money, I'm going to want to see you play every game that you're physically capable of playing. Absolutely. I get everybody has issues, but you have issues when you have a job. Your job still expects you to be there. I don't care what's going on. There's a Juicy J. I don't care what's going on, cash. It's about cash. I don't care nothing about your problems. Cash. Get here. And it's too often it's NBA players get away with the woe is me. I don't want to play this game, that game. If anything, if you want to rest, my personal thing is rest them in the fourth. Rest them at some point. Rest them through the game. Don't completely sit them. I want to see You got 8 games. You had 3 months off. Can I see Paul George and Kawhi Leonard for 8 straight games? Especially considering during the season, you hardly got to see that.
And then, too, they will take like 8-game stretches where then they'll sit out like 3.
It's
weird.
It's too much rest.
I understand it, too.
I get it, but...
Because it's just more about the longevity. It really, like, you see, like, we talked about the injury with Jonathan Isaac. It can happen. I mean, it's not like you have to just go in fear nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Nothing gets done.
It's an athletic competition, though. So.
I get it. No, I'm not saying I disagree with you in the slightest. What I'm saying is just playing devil's advocate here. It's more so of you get the business side of it from the aspects of, yeah, we pay you to do X amount of things, but there are factors within that we can't do anything about. That's out of our hands. It's like the biggest life lesson that I've ever learned being like alive in my 23 years of Earth. Life is not how you plan it. It's about how you improvise. So in the sense of we plan you to play 82 games, make the playoffs, make the finals, play every single game, and win. We get it, but there are situations like injuries. There are situations like players getting cut. There are situations like team chemistry that is just completely out of your hands as a general manager at times.
But you still have to come to your job. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, most jobs, they don't care less about your problems. If you can physically do it, then you need to be here. So that's my thing. Like, I'm just not big on the sitting out, especially when, again, modern medicine, it's different. Like, NBA players were playing 17 years back in the day. Like, you're seeing these dudes as legends now.
All right.
Some of them break down, but man, at the end of the day, you can play. You're in your athletic prime.
All right, y'all going off. Y'all went on like a whole tangent.
That's because we got the
It's what
20
we do,
we got the
man.
23-year-old telling me about back problems and knee problems.
Ho! I'm there with it. Right knee, lower back.
All right, look, since
Ankle
y'all
surgery.
went on a tangent and we gonna go to break soon, but before we go to break, let's talk about this real quick. These tempers in the NBA games, they flaring. You got Giannis headbutting, who was it, Mo Wagner or something?
Hey, that is.
You had, what was it, Aaron Gordon and Kyle Lowry. What he said, he said my room number is something.
46.
Like, you got tempers flaring, then you
Down
know,
his town.
like you said, you had
Aaron Gordon don't
preview.
want those issues. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now.
Oh no, Lowry
You don't think?
bite his ankle.
That's
No,
crazy.
Lowry is really like his background suggested. I'm not saying it here, but I'm telling you now. His background suggested.
He looked like a little pit bull chihuahua.
That's crazy.
He's backed up. He's
backed up. I'd want to fight too if I was backed up.
No, I'm talking like he's got.
Whoa. You just gonna go over that like he just say that?
I mean, I'm saying, he said he was backed up. I'm like, but now I understand. Okay, brother.
All right.
He has backup.
Oh, he
Okay.
has backup.
He has backup.
Who, Meek Mill?
Where is Lowry from? Hold on. That sounded like something.
Gang. You know what that means?
Stop.
Adrian, bro.
That's his backup. Adrian.
He from
Broner?
Philly? Oh yeah.
You say Meek Mill?
The opposite
I
of this
did
color.
hear you say Meek Mill, but I
That's
didn't
his
think he was
backup.
from Philly.
The opposite of this color.
I thought Boys the Man was his backup.
Wow, that's different.
That's wild.
But nah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and that's competition though. That's kind of the funny part though is if they were playing if everything was normal, regular, you going back to Toronto or Orlando, you don't have to see each other for much.
Right.
You see Jimmy Butler and T.J. Warren just finally got to link back up. But it's like then that kind of goes to show you about these NBA athletes a lot of times too. They ain't really about that.
They not.
Now
They're
Lowry
not
probably
fight.
was, but Aaron Gordon, come on, look at
I don't know. Damon, well,
at baby
we gonna get
Blake.
to Damon PG in a minute, but
He
they,
was
you
getting
wanted to
choked
jump
out
the
in the
gun
70s
on
by somebody that was like going through it. Like bad hairlines, his afro and chains and a whole bunch of other stuff that just cannot be said. But,
this is low key the NBA that all the old heads be crying about they won back.
That's NBA. I love that's competition.
You know, tempers flaring, everybody.
Any type of competition,
everybody heated.
in a competition sport, yeah, I'll take that.
I actually do want to see more tempers flare because it means you care. And it's just more entertaining. I mean, I understand that it's real serious and it could get real serious, but at the same time, I think everybody knows their composure in comparison to years previous.
I don't know. It don't look like it because Giannis is normally a calm
Everybody's
dude.
a social media
Giannis,
thug.
hold on, man. Giannis wanted to get thrown out. Now we have to
You sure about
understand the reality.
Really?
of that.
I mean,
Yes.
who was
Probably.
it? Who was the game
What's he
before?
got played
Before the headbutt, wasn't it against the Nuggets when he almost got into like a little argument with someone?
Was it?
I think it was the Raptors. No, he didn't play against the Raptors.
No, it wasn't the Raptors. It was
Was it a Tino or Blue?
I don't know who it was, but he got into a little argument and then he ended up headbutting Mo Wagner. It's like,
First of all, there ain't they're now about to be allowed to have family members and company visitors now. But speaking of backed up, I mean these players are kind of dealing with
all right, bro.
some things here,
All
so I
right.
can kind of understand a little bit of the frustration and
Mm-hmm.
you being around hard bodies all this time. You
All
kinda
right,
get
bro.
a little upset, so I can see it, but I think ultimately Giannis was just trying to get in one out there and take that shower. Watch the game in the locker room. He was tired of it. He was probably only gonna play a half anyway, so he just got his money's worth.
I also want to just touch on real fast. Players with mental health issues in the bubble. Jaylen Brown spoke out. It's difficult in the bubble right now because there are times in situations where players want to step away from the game of basketball for their own mental sake, and
Right.
they can't because they have to stay within a bubble, and everything is basketball.
That bubble gotta be big enough to allow them to have their own individual time.
Have you seen the bubble? The bubble has everything in it. It's like a little town.
I haven't
The
seen
only thing
it.
they don't have is company.
Yeah,
That's
legit.
it.
I get that.
I mean, we talked about that last week.
I just think from a different
Yeah,
standpoint
everything.
that it's just you just want to step away from anything related to the game so that way you can have some form of peace of mind. I understand that, like the bubble could be like its own little small town and whatnot, but it's just like you just get the vibes of being in of a burden. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you go to school and it's just like I just want to step away from school.
All right.
But then it's just like you're in a giant campus, or like if you stayed on campus, like you just want to go home.
But you still signed up for it.
I mean, but you could go home though if you was on the campus. They can't go home. Well, they can go home, but
and that's
well, I'm talking in a relative sense. But.
Yeah. Like that's just the facts of life. Like I can understand that being a part of it. Yes, it's absolutely going to be a part of why you're getting into it. But at the end of the day, you could have opted out. Speaking again of Giannis, it might have been Bertrands if Bertrands didn't opt out. You know what I'm saying? Giannis may still have been in the game. Mo Wagner just so happened to be out there instead of a Bertrands because Bertrands, opted out. I said that to say this: you're complaining about a situation that you signed up for yourself. It ain't no different than signing up for the NBA and getting traded and crying about that. These are things that come with what you sign up for. They knew these were going to be the parameters of it. They got inside those parameters. To me, I don't want to hear about that when you're now into it. Half of them are going home anyway after these next couple games, so they can do whatever they want to do. And again, if you have a goal, that's that NBA championship. Competition brings out the temper, but you're now entwined in basketball, so you're going to get the best of the best. Like I'm looking forward to all of this, and if the game is mental, if you're not in it, if your mind ain't in it, you ain't together, then you're just going to end up being bounced and get your food ate. And that's just the facts of life. That's just the competition. That's the game. So, it's not for the weak, and that's what it should be. So I'm for all of this. And again, I'm an old head, so I like the beef.
All right. Okay.
Around the beef DVDs. Give me all of this.
All right. So we gonna.
Those are good. Those are good times.
All right, bro. We gonna hit break real quick. Gosh, dang, why am I so?
Don't you just be like we break?
So dry.
We break.
Hold on. Yeah, we gonna go on a break. When we come back, we gonna dive into Dame versus PG and Pat Beverly.
Look how happy he is. Now we get to talk about Dame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I ain't mad at you. You do always get caught.
You do always get caught. I was literally about to say Mike's a hot. He just
because you always wait until I do something and then you do. All right, that's cool.
That's not my fault.
I don't know how I knew he was about to be on because I looked at
you and you doing it. It's all right. So I knew.
Look, hey, we back. Open gym. On score on there.
Call me lacking. That's okay. So what?
That's crazy. We back. Open gym. On score. God dang, man, I'm jumbled right now. What is it? Score on there at facebook.com or scoreonthare.com where you ain't have to read like that. Scoreonthare.com where you can find all our live streams, daily blogs, any daily content. So check out scoreonthare.com. Golly,
bro.
I'm out here felling.
He's come home. And the last call was before 10 too, so I don't even know.
You hungover, bro.
Man, I was asleep, all right?
Yeah, you was sleeping good one.
Sleeping real good.
You sleep on the toilet.
That's crazy.
He woke up with the shower on with his clothes still on.
That's wild. Look, we back and we about to talk some Dame. Some Damian Lillard. It's Dame time.
Thank you. I was wondering if you was gonna do that.
What the little song?
You have to say Dame time. Like it's cliche to the bug, but you have to. You have to.
That 61 point. Everyone was pointing to their wrist. It's Dame time.
But that wasn't supposed to be the first thing on my mind, though.
I mean, look.
The man dropped a 61-piece spicy.
We was gonna have a whole little segment on Dame.
I know, but you should put that first in, bro.
Because it's breaking news, brother.
Man. Is it breaking news?
Yes.
All right.
Now we.
When does a 61 ball not mean anything? Never mind. I'm sorry. Bradley Beal.
Dang, that's crazy. Didn't he lose?
His career might end up not meaning anything after a while.
Oh no, he's gonna get traded somewhere next year.
Man, he's gonna get traded to the Lakers. You already know.
Cap.
That's crazy.
I actually have a little theory.
It's Dame time.
Yeah, it's Dame time.
It was involving Dame though. It was involving Dame. I promise.
All right. Well, all right. Let's get your theory before we go.
Dame is leaving Portland when LeBron retires.
For what?
Because the Lakers are going to have assets and the money for him to get him, to trade for him at some point.
Hold up, but when is LeBron retiring though?
whenever, because they still have. They're going to sign AD this offseason. Cool.
Right.
They're still going to have trade assets because when LeBron leaves, he always leaves garbage, or he leaves like players that can fit somewhere very, very well. Always the case. So they're going to have the ass. Look at that team right now if they stay. You have the assets enough to give Portland and picks, because you're not going to care about picks if you're LA, right?
They don't have picks.
Oof. Within the next few years?
That's why they got Anthony Davis.
That's hilarious.
Wait, that's really
'Cause
how
I
they got
actually
Anthony
remember that.
Davis?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that trade.
They traded
They
pretty
traded
much
their whole future.
everything they had except Kuzma.
Their whole future.
Pretty much.
And then they'll probably trade Kuzma for Dame. I'll do it.
So I guess that dream of Bronny playing with LeBron at the Lakers,
Yeah,
that's not happening. That's crazy.
unless like he pulls something off, like, you know what I'm saying, I'll buy my son with cash.
I
Like,
don't know.
in a cash trade,
I don't
that's possible.
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think that's how it works.
For trade, yeah, you can.
I don't even like
Like
that
a trade
analogy
exception
like
revenue.
that.
Someone's gonna do it because it's Braun. Braun is the league.
I don't know. But back to Dame. Back to Dame time. Damian Lillard. What's the other nickname? Logo Lil?
That man can have whatever nickname he want at this point.
Logo
mean,
Lillard,
MVP.
Dame time just works perfectly.
Dame Time and Logo Lillard.
But, y'all already talked about the 61 point game, but let's talk
so
about
in
that.
the past,
You
few
just gonna
games-
go off while I'm talking? That's crazy, bro.
I
Go off.
was excited. I'm
Yeah,
so
give
sorry.
us the last 4 games that he had.
So 51 points and 7 assists against the 76ers. 45
Hold
points.
on. You gotta tell us if they were wins or losses.
Okay. Oh, I don't have it if it's wins or losses. I think they were wins.
All right, I got you. You said 76ers, right?
Yep.
All right.
Well, the 76ers they beat.
And they beat the Nuggets. They beat the Celtics. And I know they beat the Mavericks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're all wins.
Are they all wins? Yeah, they beat the 76ers. Who was that? What was that against?
Just look up their schedule.
You right. That was so simple.
That's why I'm here, bro.
Hold
Simplicity
on.
is key.
Give me a sec.
Simplicity
I
is
gotta
key.
find their schedule.
So you gotta already have this up, man. Now we got dead air.
No, that's not my fault. He jumped in. I was gonna go straight.
Why is everything my fault?
I was gonna go
Oh,
straight
man.
to
Preparation.
I was
I'm the
gonna go
goat,
straight
not
to
the
the beef.
scapegoat.
I was gonna go straight to the beef of Dame Lillard and PG and Pat Bev. So I'm just gonna pull that up
We just
while I
can't
pull up
talk
the
about
rest.
the man's game. We just gotta talk about the negative, right?
We gonna get to the game.
But we gotta talk about the negative first. Though,
You
right?
could have told me that over break, bro.
No. That's not how we gonna play it, bro.
You
We
coulda
are here
talked-
talking about Dame because
Bro.
of the fact that he scored 61.
Y'all already threw me off. I had it all together, and then y'all already brought
It
the
sounds like a
61
personal
in.
problem if you drop the ball, cuz.
That's not.
We
that's,
threw the ball to you and you dropped it.
That's cold.
Missed
So
the
wait,
move.
you said the last 4 games, right?
Yes.
So 76ers, he had how much?
76. Wait, hold up. Because it's only showing me 2 games. Because it's saying the last 4 games is
They're all
Denver,
wins.
LA, Philly, Dallas.
Oh,
Well,
so
no, the last 4. So he's 3-1 because the Clippers.
Yeah, 'cause he
they
lost to the
lost to
Clippers. Which was going to bring into the whole Pat Bev and PG.
Right.
Mm.
Because he did choke those free throws too.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I was watching that game live.
And then the next
Oh, they
game,
got
he
these free
beat
throws.
Philly. And then after that, he goes 61 against Dallas. But nah, y'all
51
just.
and 7 against the Sixers, 45 and 7 with 11 threes against the Nuggets, 30 and 16 against the Celtics, and 61-8 with 9 threes against the Mavs.
So it's Dame time.
Well, I mean, he lost against the Celtics, but he out there balling.
He is.
Like he said.
The one thing I love about this generation of basketball is a lot of these players are starting to get up to Wilt Chamberlain statistics. Because Dame is
Hold on, what you mean by that?
so Dame is the one player outside of Wilt Chamberlain with the most 50-point games in a season. He's up there with him. So that I think that is a very standout. I love this generation of basketball because they're doing so many things that everyone thought that was impossible, except for if you were Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, when there was defense being played. Now, I mean, I know you can debate during the time Will Chamberlain played, rather there was defense, but he still had to deal with Bill Russell. But
Yeah.
the NBA is way more offensively a thing now. So I mean, and that's not taking anything away because you still have to deal with defenders. But I just think it's more just like the NFL and their statistics. Like it's a lot of records going to get broken just because it's now going to be extra game to be played. It's and it's more offensive, heavy football. Same thing with basketball. Everything because defense still wins championships. Don't get me wrong, but offense sells tickets. And a lot of these owners, especially, are just thinking about selling tickets. They don't care if they're the highest scoring offense and not giving up the most points on defense, as long as they're having entertaining games and they're getting buckets. So again, not taking anything away from Dame Lillard, but Wilt Chamberlain was doing things that you would have thought couldn't be touched when people were still playing defense. Now the defense is a little lackey, except if you have somebody like a Patrick Beverly.
Hold on. Were they really playing defense in Wilt Chamberlain's time?
They were playing enough.
I mean, he was taller than everyone on the floor.
I think that's kind of a false narrative. I think the narrative is that talent-wise, there's nothing close to this NBA.
Yeah, talent.
I will give you that, but it's at the same time defensively, it's easier. So it's your offense, you're talented and you're gifted, but the rules still are the rules, and they're geared towards you still being able.
I mean, I'll give him that. It is easier defensively.
I mean, but you still have world-class talent defenders in this league. Like prime example, Kawhi. Statistically, he's one of probably the best defenders to ever live.
Yeah, but you're not going to see Kawhi every game when you're Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard, more often than not, is going to be able to destroy anybody.
Whose fault is that?
It's the rules help a lot with that.
I mean, to be honest, the moment they took hand checking out,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, it changed a lot.
That's exactly my point. If Dame Lillard had to do a hand checking at the 3-point line, Dame Lillard can't pull up from the logo like he does. He can still be a great player, and I think he still would have been a great player. But it's just a different ball game where you're going to see a lot of Wilt, like you said, Wilt Chamberlain's records are getting broken. And I'm saying it's just because that's the paradigm shift of the NBA. Is the fact that it's way more offensively opened up, so you can do this. That's why the NBA has went smaller, because it's now more skilled players can play because the game is getting pushed farther away. Back then, it was a big man's game more than anything. The perimeter players, now it's everybody shoots. That's why you see 7'1", 7'2" guys. Like you can't play in the NBA now if you can't shoot. You're a big man, unless you're like a Rudy Gobert or something like that. It's just the way the game went. So it's when you're Dame Lillard, yeah, you could still ball out, but it's the rules are kind of geared towards you to still be able to get off. So you will see crazy numbers, and it won't just be from him.
I don't think you're keeping the same energy.
All right, hold on. Y'all about to go on a whole nother tangent again.
We always go on tangents.
All right, but we gonna get this Dame story over, then I'll let y'all go on a tangent. Okay. All right. The only thing I will say is nobody's breaking that 100 points a game or whatever. What was it? 100 points in the game? Yeah, I can't even word right.
That one show on that one network. You know what I'm talking about.
What, on ESPN?
Why would you say the name?
Oh, you talking about Around the Horn?
And then you just gonna drop
it.
Yes,
sure. Hey, man.
Kept that to yourself.
Now you gotta pay them for advertising.
I'm okay. What? Just for saying the name? Dang.
Yes, you don't know how that works?
They ain't
dream like it was that.
What?
All right, bro. I'm gonna look that up.
You just giving away the stuff.
That's
free.
Cool. That's like, don't give us no credit.
Man.
That's crazy, bro. Y'all be having water bottles.
They ain't mentioning us.
All
right. They don't even.
These
like
water
us.
bottles are for my hydration, and I don't have the white around my lips. Can I be fully beveraged? The white across your lip?
But the thing is still on there.
I be holding it with like the.
Y'all are going on a tangent right now. Where's the story?
You right. All right. So part of the Dame time thing, we was gonna talk about his problems that he had, against the Clippers with Pat Bev and Paul George, as he was missing those free throws. What was they doing? They was cheering or something.
They was doing the Dame time celebration.
That's what they was doing.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
They was talking that talk.
Dang. I kind of
that's
feel
what you
wrong
do.
making it Dame time now. Nah, whatever. I don't care that much. But this was his comments after the game. I don't want to read that. Y'all can see that, right?
Keep switching teams, running from the grind. Boys is chumps.
I mean, that was the Instagram back and forth they had before they called it truce because the family members got thrown into it.
Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing,
Yeah, I didn't either.
so I guess that got deleted pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's fair and responsible because again, with the platform that these players have, anything could be said, and with the people that are around them, it could escalate very quickly, or it could be a bigger deal than what it is between the two.
They ain't fighting nobody.
They're not.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying they was gonna fight. I'm just saying, like,
Paul
I think
George
it
is one
was.
of the most respected people. Like it's like most respectful people and one of the nicest people in the league.
I just don't want to see the competition, the trash talking aspect get taken out the game. Now, granted,
I mean, it's not gonna get taken out. I think it was just because I think it was Dame's sister said something, and then Paul George's wife called her something.
For what? Like, what does either one of them have to do with anything?
I mean, they just defending they people.
It's competition. Like, what are you defending? I mean, at the end of the day, Dame has his opinions. Obviously, Dame backs up his opinions.
Right.
So Dame Lillard, he never was a fan of the keep switching teams, keep jumping around, keep doing all this and that. He's just saying it again. It's no different than it is what it is. It's exactly what it looks like. They lost because Dame Lillard, even though he's big time and he's been doing this thing, he didn't come through in the clutch that time.
Right.
And he's right. They do expect more of him. I expected more of him. If you would have told me when I watched that game, when Dame Lillard got fouled, I knew for a fact that he was going to at least make one of them. He missed both.
And iced the game at least.
Dame Lillard, the reason he does this is because Dame Lillard usually has today I got time.
Yeah, that's basically his ice in his veins.
So it's people celebrate you more when you do ball out and then you finally lose, opposed to wanting to see you get that dub. Even though they're the eighth seed and the little engine and all that, they still are scared of Dame. They still have to deal with Dame. They still look for Dame to close the deal. He's a problem. That day he wasn't a problem. They were allowed to clown on him on that day. Dame felt some type of way.
Right.
You in your feelings because you just lost. You mad. They was all in your ear. And then the worst part about it is there's nothing you can do about it. They are absolutely right. It was Dame time. You missed the free throws. You lost your team the game. They're going to give it to you. He felt in a certain type of way. They did a little back and forth, and he is right. Paul George did kept switching teams. He's going to, if he ends up getting one of them championships, he's going to be another one of them cats that had to get it by keep joining up with somebody else. It is what it is, but that's also the landscape of the NBA right now. So
I mean,
Dame Lillard
is it fair to say Paul George was switching team?
Yes, he just Indiana.
I mean, didn't he get traded from Indiana?
You requested it twice.
Okay,
that's switching teams.
All right, I'll give you that.
So it's more so, and it's just everything's not perfect. I don't get everything my way. Let me go somewhere else. Right. And that's Dame Lillard ain't that type of dude. Dame Lillard's that this is my team. We're going to win here because I'm here type of dude. So of course he.
But I mean, if your front office ain't giving you nothing, you got a right to request a trade.
Yeah, your front office, that's on them. I get it, but at the same time,
it's the old
you still keep doing it though. Like you requested a trade,
but he was a free agent from OKC, wasn't he?
Yeah, but you resigned, and then the very next year he requested a trade.
Okay.
So you had a chance to go to another team. You didn't. You signed up for them, and then it was, it didn't work the way I wanted it to again. Please trade me. So within 3 years, you asked for 2 trades. Damian Lillard is pretty much like, no matter what, I'm staying here and I'm doing my thing. It is what it is. Personally, I feel like I'm gonna respect you more. Just like, and I think I said it we had the T-Mac debate that's now deleted actually. Why I respect his career more than I respect Kevin Durant's rings, just because he didn't have to do what he had. He didn't cheat. Or no, excuse me, not T-Mac, Vince Carter. I respected Vince Carter's career more than I respected Durant's, as far as what he had to do for the rings. Like, and it's just when you look at the Paul George situation and kind of how he cries his way out of it, he's right about it. Like, if you have to do all this to get your rings, you're going to be respected less than a Dame Lillard if he doesn't win a ring and stays in Portland his whole career just because you fought with your guys. And to me, I still respect that.
Okay. All right.
Especially knowing the situation. I mean, Dame Lillard did get that big mega contract, so it is what it is. And I don't think, at least in his case, I can't say that his front office let him down. I say injuries hurt their case. But a healthy Portland team, that's why they're so dangerous because they would have been a threat. So I mean, but again, it's you're not seeing nobody get on Hudsonia. You're not seeing nobody get on Collins or anybody. Like, yeah, exactly. Wendell Great Gabriel or anything like that, they're getting on Dame Lillard because Dame Lillard is Dame Lillard. So I mean, it's not often you're gonna be able to get the one up on him. So I mean, especially when Pat Bev and Paul George wasn't playing, that has to tickle you a little bit. Y'all need this game, and you didn't deliver for your team because of not being clutch. I'm going to clown you because I probably ain't gonna be able to do this for another whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because Dame is still that dude. So I mean, both of I think everybody was a little bit right and a little bit wrong in that situation. I think at the end of the day, I mean, once you put stuff on there for Instagram and Twitter and all that, you just put it on for the world. I'm more of a leave it on the floor or take it out when y'all see each other. But other than that, keep it out the public eye. But
You know, I never knew what Cancun on 3 was until right now. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
You also look at the playoff resumes of both players involved, and Paul George and Damian Lillard. It's kind of weird if you look back into it. Paul George hasn't made it out the first round since 2014. And 2014 was that breakout year for him, if you remember, in Indiana. We didn't even know who Paul George was until that, And then he hasn't made it out the first round until then. Granted, he had that injury with Team USA. That halted him for about a year and a half, relatively. And when he left Indiana to join with Russell Westbrook, of all players, who hasn't left out the first round since he had Kevin Durant. In
Is
that
that
time.
true?
Westbrook?
Yeah, Westbrook.
You sure?
Yeah.
Didn't he make it to the second round that one?
No. He hasn't made it out the first round ever since KD left. So yeah, it was a great combination to see, especially with Paul George playing the basketball that he did his last year in OKC. Oh my gosh. But you look at that, and then you look at Dame's playoff resume. Dame did send Pat Bev home when he was with the Rockets, and Dame did send PG home with a 40-foot shot,
That was
But
over him
you
too.
look at Dame's weird career, this is where it gets weird. He's been swept 3 times. He's been swept 3 times. I don't know if it was in a row, but he's been definitely swept 3 times.
No, I think it was in a row.
It was probably in a row.
It could have been.
Because he got swept by the Pelicans. For sure. I'm still kind of upset about that one. That didn't make any sense. They should have never got swept by them. Who else did he get swept by?
I know he got swept by Golden State.
Swept by Golden State.
Because that was a Western Conference final, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was 2 years ago then.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think the Pelicans were 2017.
And then he got swept by the Rockets, didn't he? I know. Did they get swept by the Rockets?
I don't think it was the Rockets.
I don't think it was three straight. But
yeah, I don't think it was 3 straight
either.
either.
I have to look up.
I know 3 times for sure.
But again, I mean, he is right. I mean, he did send him home though. So I mean, of course, again, that's just it is what it is. It's just competition. Like they don't feel no type of way about each other when they're not playing. But it's just that one event. That's one time frame. It is what it is. It's sports. If Pat Beverly wasn't a great defender, then Dame Lillard probably wouldn't pay no attention to him. If Paul George wasn't a great player, he wouldn't pay attention to him. And it's the other way around. It's a bigger deal because they did the Instagram thing. That's it. Like you can imagine what they're saying on the court. You know what I mean? Like
he's worse on the court.
We seen the animations of what they were doing and pointing to their wrists and doing all that talking, but you're not seeing exactly what they're saying. You're not hearing exactly what they're saying. You feel some type of way, but I don't want to be around a happy loser anyway. Flat out. Like I love the fact that you lose and you get mad. Now there's obviously a line, but it's just, and again, that's where they have the issue. because it's over after the buzzer. To me, you leave it on the floor. That's what leaving it on the floor means to me. They took it virtual. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the. It's the world we live in. If I got something to say to you, I mean, again, we will speak on this plenty. I'm old school mindset. I believe if you got something to say to somebody, you say it to them.
If it ain't directed, it ain't respected.
Call it a day. They nowadays a person run to social media and then say something about you or to you or whatever, whatever. Where you just see me. So if anything, like that's my biggest problem with it is that aspect. But outside of that, let the competition happen.
Okay. They were swept by Golden State twice,
Okay.
and the Pelicans. I think that's it.
Was it 3 straight?
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think so. Says for the third straight season, the Blazers season came to an end in a sweep. So yeah, 3 straight. That's
It's
crazy.
weird, isn't it?
Man, that's real weird.
So it's just like you would see like Dame, you see Dame's narrative of like you could see where he needs to go somewhere, but at the same time, if you sending great players home, then it's like
But
do
he's
you need
getting
to
sent
go or do you
home.
just need more help? You know what I mean? Like
He
him and
definitely
CJ are a great backcourt, but they always needed someone
in the front.
in a wing.
I mean,
They always needed a wing.
that's the way the game goes.
I mean, who they got in the front court though?
They have Nurkic, but if he's healthy, that's great. And that's
Right.
rebounding. And that's some solid defense. But
That's
they've
what
always needed a wing, and they've always been one of like the worst defensive teams.
I mean, now they got Carmelo though.
But as far as like a long term solution,
Okay. That's right. You was arguing about Carmelo's long term situation.
yeah, it was just like it wasn't a bad fit as far as like what they want to do as far as their playing style. It's not a bad fit at all. But my thing was for longevity and for defensive reasons because of how lackadaisical they could be on defense, especially the backcourt. Dame and CJ's not going to defend anybody. They're not defensive. They're not defensive players by any means. So especially with them being 6'2", 6'3", relatively.
Right.
Maybe I think maybe CJ 6'4" on a good day with shoes. So it's like who are they defending?
I mean, it's a different NBA, and I mean, going to who Dame got swept by, the Pelicans one is the one that I'm more kind of side eye about. But at the same time, if you look deeper, he had to deal with Drew Holiday, and I was actually listening to him
They
interview.
also had Anthony Davis, I think.
Yeah, they still had Anthony Davis
Yeah, I mean,
too.
they had Anthony Davis, but what I'm saying is you can have Anthony Davis, but Drew Holiday directly affects Damian Lillard.
and Drew Holiday that series. I remember that series. He clamped Dame.
So it's to me, it's more so like that's still questionable, but it is what it is.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was one of Drew Holiday's best defensive seasons.
I mean, you can shut down you can shut down Dame. I don't care if it was a season or a day. You can do that to him or make him have to deal with that. I mean, that it is what it is. Like Dame he was the engine. The Golden State 2 ones, I'm not mad at them because nobody was beating Golden State.
Right.
It was just so to me, I don't think it's
not like it wasn't possible to beat Golden State.
Not when they was getting rid of Dame.
But here's the thing too. The best way to beat Portland is to outscore them. And if you have the best scoring team against Portland, you have a chance of beating Portland because you had Steph, Clay, KD. You know that in itself. Who's guarding KD on that squad? If again we're talking about how they're missing a wing.
I mean, they only had KD for one of the sweeps. That the first one was in the first round. They
Right.
had what, that big three?
I get that, but what I'm saying is just like you have to
He's
outscore.
still matched, and that's the thing. Like I've never been big on like I'm context. Again, talking about the McGrady debate, that's my thing. It's always going to be context. Like if you're going to say, well, he sucks or this didn't, he lost or whatever, I'm going to need to know why. I'm going to need to know what happened. So when it comes to Dame getting swept, you're getting swept by teams that were better than you. It is what it is. Like the Pelicans is the one I'm more side eye about just because I felt like they were close. But when you don't get a win against somebody that I didn't expect you to beat, I'm not going to knock that. And at the same time, Dame signed up for what he signed up for, and he took that on. That's why he signed that massive contract because he knew maybe I'm not going to always have the team that I may want because I'm getting the money that I deserve. but we're gonna ride together no matter what, and we're gonna win together no matter what. I think they were built to be successful this year. Injuries happen. Now they're peaking at the right time, but I think if you end up looking up and Portland is beat by LA, is that really a knock on Portland this year? I don't think it is, just because LA was expected to, do well. I think if they were healthy and you looked at it and you would have seen Portland get beat by LA in the second round, you'd have been like, all right, I can get that. So if it happens in the first round, it is what it is, but I'm not going to put that knock on Dame. Dame's signing up for that by taking that money and taking the teams that he's going to get. So I respect him for looking at it his way, because that's an old school mentality. That's a more competitive state. So like he said in his interview, you go at me, I'm going to go at you. It's not like it's a personal thing. It's just that once you I'm not, I swear it's a generation where it's expected that somebody can say whatever to you and you don't respond. And if you do respond, it's like, oh, you're too emotional, or you too in your feelings, or you too this, that. That's a lose-lose mentality.
Right.
And I always felt like losers put you in lose-lose situations. So when it comes to something like that, it's just more so like, I'm not mad at Dame for doing things his way, because that's exactly what it's about. And he's looking at other people doing it their way and saying, well, that's corny. I can respect that too, because Paul George is looking at it and saying, well, I think what you stand to a team that may not ever win the championship is corny. And he's looking at it the way he looks at it. It's just a different mindset. It doesn't mean that one is right and the other is wrong. It's just that that's how each one approaches the situation, how they look at it. Again, the problem is when it spills out to others. That's no different than having a problem with somebody individually and then everybody else is telling you what you need to do or you should do. Now it's a bigger deal than it would if y'all just got together and just chopped it up. So I just think that once you take basketball activities outside of basketball, it's a problem. Outside of that, got no problem with none of it.
That's why I'm so hurt about players like Dame, who actually have a genuine sense of loyalty in a league where loyalty doesn't really count as a factor. And I've said this countless times. You can only take the top 25 players in the NBA. Only about 5 or 6 of them can be number one options as a part of a winning team. And I believe that Dame could be a number one option. Granted that it's fool's gold. Players like Damian Lillard are fool's gold to organizations because they are just so grateful to have him in the organization. They don't do anything to cater to him. So it's just like they marvel at his greatness, but in individual greatness, they need to find team greatness. Dame understands his greatness.
You getting $45 million a year. What else do you need? But Destiny's Child. How much catering do you need?
I'm talking about not the money. I'm not talking about for individuals.
That's all
I'm talking
you
about
need.
no. I'm talking about building around him, team wise. So
that team is a good team.
It's a good team,
Nurkic,
but
Hassan Whiteside. You got,
it's kind of built around.
You got Melo for the Chiefs. You have a really great team. It's the injuries.
It's the injuries, but again, they're not playing good defense. They're not a good defensive team.
Who is?
But
I
it's like you just said. Who's really playing defense? So no one.
But what I'm saying is, it picks up in the playoffs, doesn't it? Yeah, like I sat there and said, they're not going to sit here and watch these games and be like, okay, we're going to just continue that. Especially in the playoffs, there's no way no one's doing that. I said that.
I mean, they could.
Who does that?
Let's be honest. They gonna play the Lakers first round, right?
Right.
So
you think that the Lakers are just not going to play defense at all because Dame Lillard?
I mean,
you have to understand. Like I just sat there and said, the only way for you to really beat Portland is you have to outscore them.
Well, the Lakers can do that.
Like that's literally the only way you can win any game ever.
But I'm talking about being in the specific.
There's no way you can win.
It's cool.
I'm a little lost.
I mean, I thought the goal was to outscore the other team.
I get that, but there are certain teams with certain weaknesses, right?
Right.
If you are a weak defensive team, I'm gunning at you for sure. Like I'm throwing.
But they're playing the Lakers though. They're playing the Lakers, who you could say for injuries are also a weaker defensive team.
Yeah, they're gonna be weak defending.
Yeah, but they have better key factors for them that keeps them together. Like one, their style of play, offensively, like that ball movement is ridiculous. And like I said, with the backcourt that they have in Portland, they're not sufficient enough defensively to be able to stop the Lakers and what they would have going on. Especially,
but who's the Lakers backcourt?
Anybody.
All right, I'll give
You got
that.
LeBron in the backcourt nowadays. You have, that's all you really need. LeBron.
Nah,
LeBron and AD.
he can't guard Damian Lillard, and that's the problem. Like I feel like it's.
I wouldn't
it
say
still
he
could be-
can't. I would say it's more like he won't.
LeBron
Because
ain't-
it's not his place to.
I think LeBron still has that aura of he can do whatever he wants to do, and when he's not turning it. He just doesn't feel like turning it on. But LeBron's not trying to deal with Damian Lillard. It's just it is what it is.
Well, that's why I said it's less he can, more he won't.
Yeah, I mean I get that too.
You would definitely put like a Danny Green on him
Yeah, but
or on a CJ.
I mean, you put a
you're still
JR
That's
on.
a defensive specialist.
you're still giving up
See
a
what I'm
lot
saying?
because the other who else is going to guard? Like now you're dealing with Deion Waiters, who's not a defender.
I
Now
mean-
you're dealing with J.R. Smith, who's not a defender.
JR, he's not a defender, but he's better at it.
He
got better.
He has his time.
He got better in Cleveland. He was big for that championship run, but that was also 4 years ago. J.R. Smith also didn't have a job. It wasn't just because LeBron threw him that life raft.
Right.
That's what happened here, just like Damian Lillard did with Carmelo for real. It's just an influence that certain players have with an organization that can get a player who was, in a way, blackballed kind of out of the league just because they like him so much. But J.R. Smith ain't guarding with Damian Lillard. Neither is Caruso. Neither is Quinn Cook. So I've always thought that's going to be the biggest problem for the Lakers is being able to contain Damian Lillard. But that's going to be the biggest problem for anybody. Where the Lakers have the advantage at is they have LeBron James. And Portland doesn't have LeBron James. So while LA doesn't have a Damian Lillard, they don't necessarily need a Damian Lillard because Damian Lillard's going to do what Damian Lillard does. Portland has no answer for LeBron James and Anthony Davis combination. I don't think. Everything's going to come down to the others anyway. And I think that's what gives Portland a shot. But I still think it's hard for me to believe LeBron James is getting bounced in the first round. So
Right.
I say that to say this. If you look up and Portland gets beat 4-2, I'm not going to look at this season as a super disappointment. I'm going to respect them for making it to the playoffs to begin with. Just
Right.
because I understand the context of it. And that's not an indictment on Dame's career. It's just sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. That's why basketball bounces.
Okay.
But that basically just said my point. He basically said my point, in the sense of like when it comes to teams and how to beat them. Like, of course, you have to outscore them, but there's a systematic way. Like, you have to understand what's going on. Like, you know Dame is going to go off. You know CJ is going to go off. But if you don't have what it takes to stop it, or if you partly do, or if you have like something that could stop him within like a style of play, then it's like, okay, so they like to score. So what we have to do is we have to make sure we defend them well enough. Well enough. Stop them, yes, but well enough for us to have our shot and make our shots, right? Like, prime example.
Hold on.
Hold on.
We gotta get through the rest of this.
Prime example. Michael Jordan. They had Jordan rules to
Right.
beat him, right?
I mean, are you comparing Jordan and Dame?
No.
You comparing their situation
no,
though.
No. So this is what I'm saying. If a certain team has this, right? With Dame in Portland, we had to outscore him. With old school Bulls, we had to make sure that he doesn't fly, Jordan, right? With Kobe, we had to make sure he doesn't get to his spots and make sure that we cut off anybody that tried to help, like a Pau Gasol. If we cut off any of this like circulation of help, then we'll be fine. Like a Steph Curry, like with Golden State, you're gonna have to run them off the 3-point line. Good luck. That's what I'm saying. There's certain ways to beat certain people, and that's what my point was. How y'all just saying like, yeah, Dame's gonna do this, so you're gonna have to figure out something else.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. That was my whole point. There's different ways of beating different teams, but of course, me saying the bold, like flat out statement, you have to outscore them, is, I get that. It was a little more broad than anything.
My thing
That's where I come from, and then I understand where I came off wrong. I came off extremely broad in what I was trying to say.
Can we get a shirt that says Tangent too?
We need one. Tangent. A whole lot of that.
A Tangent shirt.
I'm gonna get
But-
a tangerine that says tangerine.
All right, but let's talk the upcoming games real quick. I'm just gonna read them off. Y'all just say, I guess, win or loss.
Stress.
He hates me.
Man, I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Because
It's
he went
hot.
out last night. Now the truth comes when we got 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left. Oh,
I don't know.
You
But
like the
all right.
curves?
What?
What?
Yeah, I do.
All
want
right, that's crazy.
I do want a taco now.
All right, I'm just gonna read since there's only three days left. I'm just gonna read them all off. All right, so Indiana at Houston, just win or loss.
Oof. That's a tough game.
Indiana. No,
All right.
Houston.
Okay, what you got, Mario?
Houston.
Houston. All right, Toronto at Philly. I got
Toronto.
Houston, by the way.
Philly.
I got Toronto for that. All right, Miami at OKC. I'm looking at Miami.
Miami.
All right, so we all three Miami. Clippers at Denver.
Denver.
You going Denver? I'm going Clippers. Well, it depends on who plays.
Are they still playing for the number 2 seed? 'Cause that's what
I
I'm.
think
so.
I
I
base
think-
it off of that. Like I'm thinking Denver still kind of has something to play for as far as keeping that 3 seed.
Actually,
No, I
the
think
Nuggets
it's all
right,
locked
as
in.
Of right now, the Nuggets are a game and a half behind the Clippers,
Okay, so it doesn't mean nothing for them.
and the Rockets are 2.5 games behind Denver. So they're both not really playing for anything.
I'm gonna go for the Clippers.
Yeah, I'm going for Clippers.
I'm gonna go Clippers.
All right, so that's today. Thursday game is Washington at Boston.
Are you serious?
Boston.
Bro, just say Boston.
You said Washington, so
All right,
Boston.
I said Washington at Boston. Man.
That's the point.
All
There's
right.
no need for you to just say Boston.
Okay, Sacramento at the Lakers. All right, bro, Lakers.
Sacramento.
I mean, they got no reason to be.
Is LeBron and AD
Yeah.
playing like that's?
They got no reason to play. They the number
I
one
put
seed.
Kareem and Magic in a Lakers uniform right now, and I got the Lakers
No.
today.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Mm-mm.
I don't trust
All right, Milwaukee at Memphis.
It depends on if Giannis plays.
I'm gonna say Memphis.
He's probably suspended.
Well, I'll probably go Memphis anyway. Really,
All right, Dallas at Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I got doubt.
I got Dallas.
I got Dallas.
Dallas has something to play for.
No,
Dallas
not really.
Is
They're 6.
7, but
No, they're
they have
6.
nothing really to play for.
Oh wait, yeah, they're 7th. Yeah, they're tied with the Jazz, but they got nothing to play for.
They're tied with the Jazz.
Oh, I mean, they both had like 43 games, but
They're a game and a half behind Utah, but Utah can easily lose that spot.
yeah.
So
I
I hope Utah.
where I'm at? Oh, San Antonio at Utah. That's Utah. I mean,
San Antonio and Utah.
yeah,
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
I'm going Utah.
I think that San Antonio is actually like showing some heart, even though it's over with.
It's
the
over
Great
with.
Popovich way.
That streak is done.
I'm hurt about that.
So Utah does Utah have something to play for?
I mean, they're 6.
keeping their 6th spot.
In the
That's the
Mavericks
most.
for a game and a half.
Yeah.
They can easily lose that because there's like 2 games left. They can easily lose.
I mean, it really don't matter. They probably gonna lose in the first or second round.
Because if they're
regardless.
6th, then they have to play Denver in the playoffs. If they're 7th, they have to play the Clippers.
I'll go with the Jazz here.
Yeah, I'm
San
gonna go
Antonio.
Jazz. All
I
right,
think the Jazz don't want to see
Portland at Brooklyn.
Clippers.
Portland.
You got Portland?
Yeah, Portland and who?
Brooklyn. Yeah, I got Portland. New Orleans at Orlando.
New Orleans.
Orlando.
I got Orlando because New Orleans ain't got nothing to play for. They knocked out.
Yeah, but I just don't think that Orlando has the firepower against New Orleans. I think New Orleans is going to play pissed.
I don't know about that.
I think so.
They gonna sit their stars.
Well, with the last shebang out, I mean, they have a point to prove that, yeah, like we deserve to be here and we'll see you next year.
She bang.
I think so.
She
I
bang.
guess.
All
I
would send that message.
All right, that was Thursday's games. What about Friday? And Friday we got starting off Denver at Toronto. I kind of got Denver for that.
Oh, I don't know. I think I might go with Denver.
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. Miami at Indiana.
They play again?
Yeah,
I like
sure.
this.
I got
Would they have to see
Indiana.
each other in the playoffs?
I
I
got
think
Indiana.
so. This
That's
could
the
be a
matchup.
potential playoff series.
Could it?
4 and 5 play each other, right? Or is it 4 and 6?
Oh, that could be.
4 and
Yeah,
5.
4 and 5. They play each
Okay,
other.
so yeah, I like this a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got that. I got Indiana for
I
that.
don't
though.
think it matters who wins this one as long as they get to see each other.
Yeah. OKC at LA. Oh well, Clippers.
OKC and Clippers.
Yeah.
Okay, see.
They really gotta change their name. Yeah, I got OKC too.
I
Wait,
like
are they
OKC.
even in the playoffs?
Okay, see.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
OKC's 5th, actually. That's kind of shocking.
Philly at Houston. I got Houston.
Philly and Houston. But Ben Simmons is out.
I go Philly.
If Joel Embiid has a game, yes. But I think the backcourt of Houston takes him out.
Okay. All right. And y'all want to do the award finalists?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
I'm with it.
We right at the end. But
Yeah, I'm in it.
we can extend.
I
a
say
little
we do
bit.
our MVP now, and then next week we do our first and second team.
Well, I was just gonna.
Actually, I think we should just save that for the next show.
I was just gonna show the whole list.
Yeah.
But if y'all want to save it, we can save it.
Yeah, let's save it because I think we can have like a whole show discussion on it.
The whole awards.
Yeah, like they got the finalists out. So you know.
As far as that,
Hold on. We gonna do it now, or we gonna?
no, we'll do it next week. But while we do it next week, drop in the comments your MVP or your first, second team, any type of interaction about what you think. And if we still have them, we'll read them on there next week, along with making our picks.
And if anybody wants to shoot any ideas for the show that you guys would like to see, basketball related, let us know. Hit us up on Facebook, Rondell Sutherland, T Nesbitt, Marvell Nichols.
Nah, definitely don't hit me up, bro.
Don't hit up Rondell. He don't like none of y'all. So I get it. Antisocial, introvert. That's the lifestyle.
I'm just
He
saying
be
I
on-
might not read it.
He
That's
be
just
on
the thing.
Snap to be on this player.
I'm just saying I might not see it. You hit me up on Facebook. I'm not gonna hit the notification at all.
I'll get it. So just hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Instagram at marvelous 2_. If you guys got any ideas of what you want to see for the show, if you guys have any feedback for us, or if you enjoy our content.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hit Marvell up. You want them to hit you up, T?
If they have food. Other than that,
Other than
Facts.
that, so just hit Marvell up. He'll probably notify. He'll notice it.
So T for the snacks, Rondell not at all, and me for the content.
I mean, you can hit
Brady,
me up,
break.
but just know I probably won't see it.
so would you delete your messenger?
No, not
You just
delete.
don't like people.
I don't have notifications on like that. And even if I got notifications on, I just see it. I won't even reply.
He be snapping.
He don't need no man, bro.
All right, but
Yeah,
that's any last thoughts, sir? That's it.
Check us out tomorrow, actually, for the Nutty North Show. We will
Yeah.
be back in here, except this dude.
I'm gonna take a
I
sick
will be on
day
Sports
tomorrow.
Unfiltered for tomorrow. So if anyone wants to check that out, I suggest it.
Hold on, before we end, when's Fight Card coming back?
I gotta get somebody to run fight card with me. Other than that, I'm so excited, man. I'm the fight this coming weekend, DC and Stipe. Dumb excited for it, man. Shout out to the city of Cleveland, Stipe. That's where he's from,
Mm-hmm.
and DC. I mean, this is for the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time.
All right, okay. Well, that's Open Gym episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's something. Somebody gonna point me in the right direction at one point, but catch us every Wednesday, and we'll see y'all next time.